enthusiasm have anything to do with it. Orlando's got an uphill battle here at the United Center tonight. The starting matchups, as you saw Michael Jordan introduced at guard, and Doug, early in this game, how about going to O'Neal as we hear Orlando's going to try to pound the ball in quickly and often?
Well, if they do go to Shaquille O'Neal, as Kareem talked in the studio, this guy has to make some shots. Hardaway and Anderson, they have got to relieve some pressure, but I really believe that Orlando needs a quick start tonight emotionally. Try to diffuse this crowd just enough to where they can get off to a nice start.
So Dennis Scott starting at guard in place of Donald Royal, who's been hampered by the ankle. Brian Hill. Talk about pressure. One of the most talented young teams in the NBA, and nothing short of a championship will satisfy his folks. And you see the stress on that man, Phil Jackson. NBA career leader in playoff wins, I would guess with 3 world championships in the last 4 years. Michael Jordan is back in the arena tonight, and despite the prohibition of wearing number 23 by the NBA, Michael is wearing it anyway. The Bulls issued a statement, as Craig Sager told you right before the ball game, and said, we want to comply with the league and work it out with the league, but Michael is insistent upon wearing number 23, and there he is tonight. We'll see what a difference it might make. Our officials are Hugh Evans, Steve Javy, and Bernie Pryor. Dumping off to Longley, the turnover, and back comes the Orlando Magic. Longley has struggled out of the gate at center for each time he started for the Bulls. Shaquille gets it early, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line just as he did in game number 2.
Bob, I'll tell you what I'd like to see from Shaquille tonight. I would like to see some emotion, some passion. During the regular season, I saw a lot of that in him. During the playoffs, I really believe all this fouling has frustrated him. I think it's taking him away from what he does best. And I think tonight he's got to really find a way to get that energy level and that passion back, because he is the leader of this team, as Michael Jordan is the leader for the Chicago Bulls.
Shaquille O'Neal shot 13 of 20 from the free throw line in game number 2 as the Bulls won that game. Jack, of course, shot 53% in the regular season, up to 58 in the first series of the playoffs, and is now shooting up above 60% from the free throw line. But it is a significant story, and the fact that he goes to the line 20 times in a game says all you need to know about that. He hits 1 out of 2, and Orlando leads 1-0 from the United Center. The series tied at 1 game apiece. Orlando winning game 1, the Bulls winning game 2 in Florida. The next 2 games will be played here tonight and also on Sunday afternoon. 10 on the shot clock. Pippen in the paint to Longley, and he's fouled.
See, Luke Longley has got to be ready. First play of the game, Michael Jordan surprised him. That time, Scottie Pippen surprised him. He has got to be ready. All he has to do is move to an open area, because those guys are going to create a lot of opportunities for him. Will Perdue does a very good job of that.
Maybe in the game sooner than later, if that continues. That foul was on Dennis Scott. To Longley, cutting to the hoop from at the top of the key, and the Bulls have it 2-1.
Right on cue.
Horace Grant hard back to Shaquille O'Neal. Horace Grant penetrating, and as they had to step in to stop him, Shaquille left open for the layup.
Interestingly enough, though, he did not dunk the ball. He took it to the other side, avoided the contact so he didn't get fouled.
Jordan from 18 drops his first jump shot of the night. He opened by hitting his first 2 shots in game number 2, and then missed 7 in a row. The turnover from Hardaway into the chest of Longley. Jordan fouled by Dennis Scott, and that's 2 on Dennis Scott, who was an unusual starter tonight, normally coming off the bench, and he may have to get to the bench pretty soon.
All right, now, what's going to happen? You're Brian Hill. You've started Dennis Scott to get off to a great start. He now has picked up 2 fouls. Now you've got to go to your bench of something you don't have confidence in. Do you go to Donald Royal, who struggled, who has a sore ankle? Do you come in with Ryan Shaw? Or do you go to Anthony Bowie? A lot of decisions he has to make right now. Or he could stay with Dennis Scott, hoping he doesn't get his third, but he is guarding Scottie Pippen. That could be a problem.
Michael Jordan was 3 of 8 from the free throw line in game number 2, highly unlike his career average of around 85%. He gets both of them here.
Let's watch now what's happening here. Horace Grant is being played by Pippen. Watch Pippen. He'll come up and bother Hardaway just enough to slow him down a little bit to use some clock. So keep your eye on Scottie Pippen. That's the role that Horace Grant played for the championship team.
This is a role Horace Grant plays a lot, and that's the 18-footer from the top of the circle. He will knock it down about 7 out of 10 times. It is 6-5 Bulls, first 2 minutes from the United Center. Kukoc, ball fake, Jordan. That's a 2, he stepped on the line. Michael is opening 2 for 2 at the United Center. Some full court pressure from the Bulls.
See, they're trying to get the ball out of Hardaway's hands. They throw it to Dennis Scott. He's picked up his dribble. And they're going to cause a turnover here.
And they got it, Jordan! He's 3 for 3, and the Bulls are out in front 10-5.
Now they're forcing Nick Anderson to bring the ball up the floor. So Chicago has them disrupted here early.
Brian Hill will have to decide what early game adjustments he wanted to make, something that certainly wasn't in the game plan designed early today. He did say he was going to Shaquille O'Neal early and often, and he's gone to Shaquille 3 times early.
All right, now here's Scottie Pippen. He's playing Horace Grant. They don't mind throwing back to Horace Grant because he's not going to attack the basket. So now Scottie backs off, and we stop it right here. Now he's in a denial. Now it's basically man-to-man all over the floor. Puts Horace in a tough position. BJ picks the ball off, and the opportunity now goes to Michael Jordan. So these are the kind of plays that Orlando cannot make early in the game. 10-5, Michael Jordan off to a quick start with 7 points. He's 3 for 3 from the floor.
Donald Royal is into the game. He did not start. Dennis Scott did. Donald Royal out of Notre Dame is the intangible player in the starting lineup for Orlando, but he's playing on a sore left ankle.
And he will not shoot the jump shot, so they'll give him all kinds of room. He looks to try to drive. They'll double off of him.
Nick Anderson opened for 15 feet, and he knocks down his jumper.
See, Horace Grant's making the plays right now. He hit the jump shot, and that time he filled up with a little penetrating dribble and found Nick Anderson. He might have to be a playmaker for this team tonight.
Bulls by 3. Kukoc on the drive. Horace Grant with the foul. Kukoc, by the way, already in this game with 3 assists. And the fouls are adding up quickly for Orlando. That was their 3rd team foul with less than 3 minutes gone in the first period. Jordan to B.J. Armstrong. Knocks down a 3, and that'll be a breath of fresh air for B.J. Armstrong, who has struggled from the perimeter.
Again, look at Scottie Pippen. They're going to force him to throw to Horace Grant. Back to Anthony Hardaway now. There's only 14 seconds. Hardaway's got to be much more aggressive with the ball.
Donald Royal forced to take the jump shot. He misses it. That will also eat into his confidence, of course. Jordan turns it over as he drives into Donald Royal. Here's Hardaway against Longley. Rims it out.
Got to get back on defense.
4 on 2. Kukoc. B.J. Armstrong. And the Bulls have jumped up 16-7.
Tony Kukoc, 4 assists. Right now, the full court pressure bothering Penny Hardaway.
Chicago 6 out of 7 from the floor.
Shaquille O'Neal's only touched the ball twice in the paint. He has 1 field goal and got to the line twice.
Had to give it up this time. Punched away by Kukoc. Wrestled loose by Longley. Thrown away. And Hardaway beat the buzzer for the 3.
That was a big shot, Bob. Had the Bulls been able to kick loose another turnover and get out and run, you put themselves down 10 real quickly. If I talked about the quick start, Orlando very shaky right now against this pressure from Chicago.
B.J. Armstrong with 2 threes early in this game. He had been struggling during the entire playoffs. Michael Jordan hasn't missed yet. Michael has 10. He's 4 of 4 and 2 free throws. It's 18-10 Chicago.
See, I think Orlando's going to have to do something to get Scottie Pippen out of the play.
Donald Royal was looking down inside when Hardaway tried to make the pass. Another turnover, and Jordan is back very quickly and burns them quickly. He's 5 of 5 and has 12 points in 4.5 minutes.
And you see Chicago is feasting right now. Orlando having all kinds of problems bringing the ball up the floor.
Timeout, Orlando. Coach Collins, Orlando has a problem with this full court pressure.
All right, let's take a look. Michael Jordan's going to score, and this is where they're going to have their problems. After the made field goal, Horace Grant's going to throw the ball in right here. Look what this does, because Scottie Pippen is playing him now. They throw it in, and Scotty's going to hang around. He's going to hang around, and we stop it right here. He's going to create a double team. Now, Horace is going to come to the middle of the floor. They don't care. All they want to do is get Hardaway to pick his dribble up. Now, Scotty, stop it right here. He's not even in the play now, and Hardaway still throws the ball away. They have got to get Scottie Pippen down the floor and out of the play, or they're going to have trouble all night, because Anthony Hardaway is the only guy that can initiate their offense.
20-10 Chicago, 7:09 to go in the first quarter. Michael Jordan hasn't missed yet. 4 jumpers and a dunk. That foul, and Hardaway followed in. He'll have a 3-point opportunity. How about this for Michael Jordan? He was 6 of 17 in the first half on Tuesday. 5 out of 5 in the first 4:48 here.
Chicago's off to a great start, as we know, because of 9 fast break points with their turnovers. And Anthony Hardaway, this is what you got to do. You got to attack Scottie Pippen, showing surprising strength for a slender lad there, Bob, on that move, and he's got an opportunity for a 3-point play. Right now, Orlando's body language is already down. Their energy is down. They have got to get their heads lifted up. There's a lot of time left in this game, and they're only down 8.
Orlando lost game 2 against Boston, came back to Boston and won 2. But as Penny Hardaway, indicating their attitude, said, Chicago's not Boston. Jordan on the drive, kick out, Pippen. Followed by Luke Longley.
Michael Jordan got away with an offensive foul. He jumped in the air and ran over Donald Royal. It was a no call. Now look what's happening now. Bob, look who's throwing the ball in.
Now Shaquille is throwing it in as they've tried to make the adjustment
to get Pippen down the floor.
That's
on Horace Grant. That's what you got to do. That's a good adjustment by Brian Hill. You got to get him out of the play.
I'm going to buy your coaching. Hardaway backing in. B.J. Armstrong in trouble at the top. Nice pass to Horace.
Hardaway has got to be active. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to attack off the screen roll.
Bulls attacking quickly. Kukoc down on the baseline in a New York second. Michael Jordan hasn't missed yet tonight.
He's in a good rhythm tonight, too, and he's got 2 easy baskets, which always helps with jump shooting.
Longley hands it off to Pippen for the jam. So Scottie Pippen gets his first basket. Jordan already with 12 points. B.J. Armstrong with a pair of threes. Shaquille O'Neal has 1 field goal and a free throw so far. Donald Royal was fouled.
See, when Horace Grant gets the ball in the middle of the floor, you see Horace Grant talking to Nick Anderson right now. He said, look, push the ball up the floor, but when it comes back to Horace, now Horace has got to be a playmaker. And he did a good job. He drove it to the foul line and found Donald Roy. But it's going to be a lot of pressure on Horace to defend Kukoc, rebound, and now be a playmaker because of the Bulls' traps.
Donald Royal knocks down the free throw. First free throws in the series for Royal, indicating some of his lack of offensive presence. He's a good intangible player, though. He'll play the defense, slash to the basket. But as Brian Hill pointed out, a player like Royal in a tight half-court kind of game in the playoffs can sometimes be a liability just because of his style of play. That personal on Grant, and it's 2 early ones on Horace.
Now they're in a real problem because Horace Grant is guarding Tony Kukoc. They're going to go right to Tony on this play, let him isolate, and see if he can get the 3rd one on Horace Grant. There he goes, right here.
Kicks it to Pippen. Back to Kukoc for the 3. Royal. 24-15, Bulls by 9, 5:29 to go. Game 3, Eastern Conference semifinals, series tied at 1 game apiece. From the United Center, Horace Grant from 16 feet.
Horace Grant's playing tremendous. He really is playing well. He's playing smart. He cannot pick up his 3rd foul, or they're going to be in serious trouble.
He's 3 of 3 tonight. He's clearly been the most valuable player in this series for the Orlando Magic. Kukoc.
Horace got to be careful. He got up in the air that time.
Shaquille with a rebound. That's his first rebound of the night. Shaquille with 1 basket and 1 free throw so far. Orlando's been wanting to go to him, but they've been unable to do it.
A little bit out of Hardaway's range there. That shot too quick.
Michael Jordan pulls down the rebound. That's his 2nd. Very quickly, the Bulls come back. It's 26-17.
Scotty's really perfected that little medium-range pull-up jump shot off the glass.
Pippen with 4 points. Looking for Shaquille in the paint.
Strong. He's got to go strong.
And he did, and gets the lay-in with no foul. He must be shocked. He was calling on the presence of Hulk Hogan. Pippen, left alone, knocks it down. The Bulls really looking at a very large funnel-like rim on their end early in this game.
Now, this other end is the one I don't think they like to shoot at. I think it's the one they've had problems at during the season. We'll have to wait and see.
It is true. The one to our left, Chicago has a problem with in their own building. The Bulls are 12 of 16. That foul on Longley, and that's his second. And that'll bring Will Perdue onto the floor with 4:07 to go in the first half.
Now, I'm going to say this, and I said it the other night in game 2. Shaquille cannot let up on Will Perdue because Will looks to go to the open area. He'll have his hands ready. He came in the other night, got 2 quick dunks. In game 1, he had 8 points and 5 rebounds off the bench in only 11 minutes. So they cannot let Will give them opportunity points.
Into Shaquille, right into Pippen. That's an offensive foul on O'Neal, his first.
Scottie Pippen is a tremendous defensive player. Tremendous to step right in on Shaquille. He read the play all the way, and he realized Shaquille, once he got that 310 pounds going, that he wasn't going to be able to stop. And there's Scottie Pippen stepping in and taking the foul.
E.J. Armstrong. This is the short jumper. Horace Grant with the rebound. Orlando down 28-19 with 3:50 to go in the first period. Looking for Shaquille against Perdue.
That shot will be there for Horace all night long.
We'll get it this time. E.J. Armstrong. And the Bulls running. Jordan misses the 3, and Shaquille loses the rebound to Horace Grant. The Magic back quickly, matched up 3-on-3.
Oh, Penny Hardaway almost got away with a walk. I guess he did, and Nick Anderson with a little wraparound. So with all that's gone on with Chicago and all this stuff, they're only down 7.
Oh, the lob attempt to Jordan, and he's fouled by Nick Anderson. Mercy, that was a called play. Kukoc saw Jordan down the left side, curling down the baseline, lobbed it up perfectly for him, but Nick Anderson fouled him. And already Orlando in the penalty. And we've got a timeout called on the side to Chicago.
Bob, let me tell you something what happens. Nick Anderson makes a great play there. What happens is Orlando plays their guards below the foul line. Chicago can run out. Transition defense could be a problem.
Orlando shooting 60%, the Bulls 67%. Michael Jordan hasn't missed yet. 4 of 4, excuse me, he had 1 miss. He was 4 of 4 from the floor previously, had the 1 jam. 12 points for Jordan here with 3:20 to go in the first quarter. And Anthony Avent is into the ball game for Shaquille O'Neal, and Avent is playing at center as the backup position instead of Tree Rollins, who struggled the other night because of back spasm problems. And Avent is only 6'9", 235 out of Seton Hall, 3rd year.
Well, Anthony Avent's got a live body, and he can make things happen around the basket, and he's got to be able to buy some minutes for Orlando so they don't lose 5 or 6 points with Shaquille sitting down. Now, offensively, they've got to continue with Nick Anderson, Hardaway, and Horace Grant being the brunt of the offense. Donald Royal, Avent, you would not expect them to score unless they would be opportunities or second chances.
Armstrong right in the face of Hardaway all the way, gets it to Nick Anderson, penetrates to the paint, and he's fouled on the drive by number 23.
Well, Michael Jordan is a guy that you must continue to go at on both ends of the floor. And we talked to Brian Hill today, and he said, you know, we've charted every one of Michael's possessions in the Charlotte series in his first 2 games, and most every shot he takes is off 1 or 2 dribbles. We have got to get to him sooner, and then we've got to continue to make Nick Anderson play down low to make Michael guard him in the post, so he has to run 94 feet every time down the floor, and you see Michael's numbers through the playoffs.
Nick Anderson knocks down the free throws, 3:12 to go in the first quarter.
Again,
despite the onslaught of Chicago, the Bulls lead is only 7.
I think that's a great point, Bob, that Orlando's been able to weather the storm somewhat here with Michael playing well and Scotty, and even BJ hitting a couple 3-point shots.
His first 2. 7 on the shot clock. Inside to Jordan for the turnaround baseline jumper. Perdue follows, but Horace Grant with the rebound. That's his 3rd. Grant with 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists already. Donald Royal fouled as he drives into the paint.
Tony Kukoc should get so far off Donald Royal and get to his right hand, because he's going to go there every time and say, look, you are not going right, and you're not going to get into the lane. Watch this. He's going to go right. Tony's got to even give him more space than that, but he cannot let him get in there and get to the line, because Donald Royal, when he's at his best, is one of the league leaders in free throw shot per minute played.
And getting to the line because of that slashing style. That's 2 fouls on Kukoc, and Judd Bushler is going to send Kukoc to the bench. Tony has not scored in this ball game tonight. However, he has 4 assists. Bushler is a fellow who doesn't get much respect from the defensive teams he plays, but he can burn you in his bench time.
Watch when he comes in the game, he'll make 2 or 3 opportunity plays where he'll keep the ball alive, or he'll tip it to somebody, or he'll take a charge, or he'll hit an open shot. That's the kind of bench that the Bulls have, really specialists.
Bulls by 6. Quieted down since that initial onslaught. 8 on the shot clock.
See how many dribbles he takes. There's 1.
The long jumper goes in. Oh, mercy. Jordan with 16 points. He's 6 of 8.
Well, if he makes shots like that, Nick Anderson just have to congratulate him. That was great defense.
I don't think Nick will congratulate him. Nick, you think? He's got that Simeon high attitude.
Probably not.
West Sider might not. Hardaway on the drive. Purdue made him change his shot. Hardaway follows.
I like it that Anthony Hardaway's looking to score. I think he needs to put up a 20-plus point night for them to win.
Pippen's going to take a 3.
There's Horace Grant once again on the boards.
And a chance to pull to within 4 for Orlando. Anderson nails the 3, and Orlando is within 3. 32-29, minute 32 to go in the first half.
Remember now, Michael, 1 or 2 dribbles. There's the 1 dribble, and he tries to kick it out to the open shot for Bushler.
Flat shot from Bushler, rebound Royal, and now an opportunity to cut it to 1 or better. Anderson going to try to do better. Horace Grant, offensive board, draws the foul.
I tell you, Horace Grant, I don't think you can really say enough for what this guy's done in this series. This is an emotional time for him, and Horace in the past has always had a difficult time in emotional situations because he's very sensitive, but he has put that aside after the first time in here. He's playing great basketball right now and just working very hard on both ends of the floor.
6 points, 5 rebounds in this game for Horace Grant. And the most important stat is down there at the bottom. 3 NBA championships across the street. And he is an Iron Man.
He's played 118 straight playoff games. There's a lot of suggestions in here when Horace left about the blue flu and missing games, but he didn't have to. But came playoff time, he did not miss, and we've seen that also. Orlando struggling, Bob, at the foul line. 5 of 10. We'd like to thank Horace, by the way, for picking up our coffee tab at his hotel today. We met with he and the coaches. Yeah, he talked him into that. That wasn't an easy purchase, was it? He signed a $7 room charge, and I gave him $10, so he made 3 off me, so don't be thanking him too much. I'm going to have to explain how that works to you one of these days. Bushler from B.J. Armstrong. 1 minute to go in the quarter. 2-point Bulls lead. Well, I know how it works. You never bring any money, so. That's how it works for me. Pippen with the drive and the foul. That stops a 9-2 Orlando run. He'll have an opportunity for the 3-point play. And the 9-2 run was when Shaquille was sitting down. He comes back in the game. Shaquille's got to knock this one out of there. Either that or he's got to foul him and not let him score. If you're going to foul, you can't give him a 3-point play. So Shaquille comes back in and now has 2 personal fouls. Brian Shaw and Anthony Bowie are on the floor with Hardaway and Donald Royal and Shaquille O'Neal. Basically 4 guards and a center. Wasn't that a movie? I think it was. I think it was 4 kids and a daddy or something. B.J. Armstrong picks up his first personal foul. Michael Jordan is on the bench resting for this final 48 seconds of the first period. I think Anthony Bowie could be the guy that could help turn the series for Orlando. He's an energizer, 6'4", 6'5". He can make the open shot. He will play hard, and he will get up and down the floor for their transition defense. I think Brian Hill might be onto something here with Anthony Bowie if he gives him a long enough look here to make some things happen. But I've always liked him, and I think he can help this team off the bench. Played on a good team out at Oklahoma. Say how old I am. I tried to recruit him out of Seminole JC, so. 35-32. Bulls, 40 seconds to go in the first period. Quieted a bit since the incredible turnover there by
Scottie Pippen. He got airborne with no place to go and wanted to hit Steve Kerr, who had already moved out of the spot. 3-point Bulls lead.
Question is this high-scoring game favor Orlando, who's the #1 offensive team in the NBA, or does it favor Chicago at home? I guess we'll have to wait to see where the tempo goes the rest of the night, but it's a big first quarter by both teams.
A lot of poise shown by Orlando. They had a chance to go down in big double digits with only about 5 minutes gone in the period. Anthony Bowie travels. 13 seconds to go in the period, and Orlando has turned it over 5 times in this first period. They're going to get Michael Jordan back in here with 13 seconds, and Purdue will sit down.
I think Brian Hill's going to counter with Anthony Avent for Shaquille O'Neal as they're going once again with 4 guards and a center.
Let's copyright it. 35-32. See the time running down in the first period. Pippen, Jordan, over 2 defenders. That's a 2, and Michael Jordan has that sweet jumper falling tonight. 18 first quarter points for Jordan, 7 out of 9 from the floor, and the Bulls lead it by 5. The Chicago River at dusk in Chicago. The Bulls 37-32 here at the United Center, about 4 miles west of that scene. Doug, let's talk about double teaming Michael.
All right, Michael on the weak side of the triangle. They cleared through. There's an isolation. The double team's going to come from here. They want to push him this way. Nick Anderson lets him get to the outside. And remember, it's going to be 1 or 2 dribbles, pull up and jump shot. Michael, it's a tough shot, but they'd like to push him back to help. And you're going to see at the last shot, same thing. Michael, strong side, you push him to help. 1 power dribble into the jump shot. So I think you can see the scouting report by Orlando. They know what he wants to do, but you know what? When you're that good, you can't stop it.
Like you said, there were the Jordan rules in Detroit that were sometimes effective on Michael Jordan, but that's because they had players who could execute it.
Yeah, the personnel sort of helps the plan.
Brian Shaw is in for Orlando. Steve Kerr and Bill Wennington on the floor, who coach back in for Chicago, along with Bushler. There's the double team on Shaquille, and he'll go to block.
Now, tell you what Shaquille did on that play. He turned into the double team and punished it with his shoulder, knocked it back, and then he spun back. Watch what's going to happen now. Shaquille's going to come inside to the double team. Now, watch this. Boom, he knocks them both on their heels, and then he goes up strong. That's what you have to do. Don't give up the ball out of the double team. We got a guy sitting in the studio in Atlanta that knows more about double teams than anybody, but he had the ultimate weapon, Kareem. He had that sky hook that no one could ever stop.
O'Neal drops the free throw here. Orlando has already attempted 15 free throws in this game.
You know what? Orlando needs to be able to space up and hit some 3-point shots. And early in this game, they have not been able to do that because Dennis Scott has been in foul trouble and on the series shooting under 10% from the 3-point line.
And the ball is out of bounds. It'll belong to Orlando. The Bulls get it turned over here.
Michael, a little careless that time, jumped in the air, and these Magic guards are big. They're as tall as Michael, and Hardaway right now, probably at this stage of his career, can jump just as high and get up there with Michael, so he cannot be careless passing the basketball.
Brian Shaw, offensive foul before Brian Shaw shot the ball. That's on Anthony Avent. His first personal.
Anthony Avent has the right idea here. Let's watch to see if he moves. There he is right there. He rolls out of that screen. You see, Steve Kerr does not respect Brian Shaw's jump shot. He went underneath the pick. So that jumper will be there for him tonight.
The Bulls 37-34, 11:25 to go second quarter. Jordan gets around the screen, off the glass, and the foul on Anthony Hardaway.
See, they've got to work on this handoff right here. As Michael Jordan comes off that triangle offense on the weak side, they can't just let him catch the ball. Look at this. Look where Dennis Scott is. There's no way that Anthony Hardaway can get over the top. That's Dennis Scott's fault. He's got to step up there and trap him. And you know what? If it goes back to Judd Bushler, live with that. Michael's killing him. He's got 21 now.
And Dennis Scott, who started tonight in place of Donald Royal, picked up 2 fouls, and so he's been a little tentative. Jordan with the near steal. Now down to Shaquille against Winnington. Here comes the double team. Open man, Brian Shaw.
Now that's a
He
guy.
drops the 3.
If he makes some of those shots, maybe they'll be on to something tonight. When they beat the Bulls in here in Michael's return, he had 2 big threes at the end of the game that really turned the game in the Orlando Magic's favor.
Bushler curling into the lane. Easy for me to say. Steve Kerr finding Kukoc.
I tell you, if Steve Kerr gets open tonight, you're going to see Brian Hill go crazy.
Winnington loves that shot. Not now. That was an air ball from Bill Winnington. Hardaway with the drive, stripped away, controls the ball, and resets the offense. Did Shaquille hit anybody with the ball?
Good idea.
No.
Poor execution.
That bounced into, I was going to say the cheap seats, but there are no cheap seats at the United Center.
I was going to say, you buy that ticket and call it a cheap seat.
There goes one of my favorite cliches, never to be used again. 40-37, Bulls, 10-20, first half. From the United Center, Kukoc fouled on the hand check by Anthony Avent, his second. Horace Grant's coming back into the ball game for Orlando. Coming up next, we'll be going out to the West Coast. Vern Lundquist and Chuck Daly have Game 3, Spurs-Lakers. The Spurs up 2, but now they are back to the Forum.
And very easily could have been 1-1. That's how close those games are. Pat Riley's talking right now. They could very well be up 3-0, but they're down 2-1. You got to play all 48 minutes.
Indiana showing the grit last night, winning that game in overtime against New York.
How about that spectacular dunk by Reggie Miller in overtime to put him up 6?
Speaking of spectacular. Oh, baby.
So much for 1 or 2 dribbles. I guess that would be 2% that he doesn't.
42-37. Now Anderson backing Jordan in. Shaquille losing it. Jordan with a rebound. Bulls on the run.
If they score here, they better get a timeout. Michael's looking for that surge.
He's fouled. He'll go to the line. Let's take a look at this slam by Michael Jordan. There's a timeout on the floor. Michael is in the photographer's row.
No, that's the high rent district. Here's Michael. This time he crosses over, goes right through the defense, and Horace Grant has 2 fouls. So all he can do is watch him elevate and fly by.
The Bulls lead by 5. 23-45. What isn't a number anyway? Well, according to this book on numerology, it says 23 signifies love or one who retires, while 45 can reflect banking or marketing. As for Michael's birthday, February 17th, it says, you are highly ambitious and you are blessed with excellent business and financial instincts. Coincidental? Maybe, maybe not. But number 23 has 23 points and counting.
Thanks, Greg. By the way, my birthday's 11/14. Will you do a workup on me? And Doug, how about yourself for next?
I know what your workup is. We don't have to talk about that.
Thank you. Michael Jordan to the free throw line. Already with 23, make it 24 points. I was reading in the paper today that Michael, as somebody was figuring his salary, this is not endorsement, just salary, makes about $5,000, which is what he was fined for wearing the shoes that were predominantly white. $5,000 every 6 minutes he plays.
Well, let's talk about Michael tonight. 7 for 9 on jumpers, 2 for 2 on dunks, so he's 9 for 11 from the field, but more importantly, 7 for 7 from the foul line, and in the first 2 games, only 6 for 13.
Yeah, it was 3 for 8 in game 2, which was a shock. Must have been one of his worst games ever from the free throw line.
And through all that, the Magic are still hanging around only 7 points, so they should not be discouraged. Michael's having a gigantic night.
They tried to set a screen down there for Shaquille O'Neal to get the ball, and Dennis Scott got trapped in the middle of it and eventually was squeezed out and knocked down. And it's an illegal defense call. Shaquille's only had 3 field goal attempts so far this game.
Well, that's why they've got to find a way to get him the ball, and then he's got to go right to the basket with it because he knows he's going to get fouled. Here comes screen roll so they can find him.
Brian Shaw. Rebound Bushler. Horace Grant carrying 2 fouls defending Tony Kukoc.
that one-on-one. They've got to double him.
Jordan got Anderson in the air, wanted the foul, didn't get it. And Orlando back quickly.
Good defense.
The lob to Shaquille O'Neal.
That's what he's got to do. He's got to get out and run. Get down the floor, find him in an early post right underneath the basket. I'll tell you who used to do that great. Robert Parrish. He used to know when to run and would go right to the front of the rim.
Kukoc. Now Shaw has Dennis Scott and Horace Grant. Ball fake. Shaw with a lay-in. And it is now a three-point game once again. 44-41 Chicago. 8:14 to go in the first half of play. Michael Jordan. Wennington up the triangle. Bad pass from Wennington. Nick Anderson stepped in there and stole the ball. And that's going to be a foul on Wennington, his second.
Good defense this time by Nick Anderson. He forces the double pumper by Michael, who misses it. And now Shaquille out running on the break. Look at the big fella. He's got his hands up here. Eye contact. Throw it to the front of the rim, and nobody can stop that. That's what Shaq's got to do. Get down the floor, put the pressure on the defense, run these big guys, get them down the floor.
The center by committee, as you look at bench scoring, continues, and now Longley is back in as Wennington sits down.
Look at this now. This could be a factor as the game goes on. What it's done in the series tonight, 9-0 Orlando. Shaw being active, and you're seeing him once again take it to the basket. So 7 points for Brian Shaw. You have Anthony Dewey gave him a couple, Dennis Royal, and quietly the Magic are within 1, and Michael has 25.
Down to Longley. Orlando has scored 6 straight points. Longley's jump hook goes down, and it's 46-43 Chicago. Brian Shaw has really stepped up big here tonight, and Brian Shaw has been a man that Brian Hill has basically lost confidence in.
Well, he had a very poor regular season. There's going to be another illegal defense on Michael Jordan. But Brian Shaw had a very poor regular season, and it's his chance to atone now. If he could come up with a big series, help them win a game here tonight, and then go on, you know, all those regular season sins have a tendency to be washed away in coaches' minds.
In the playoffs, Shaw was only averaging 4 points a game, already has 7. This is only Shaw's about 20th minute of play in the entire playoffs, as Dennis Scott knocks down the technical after the illegal defensive call, and it's back to a 2-point Chicago lead.
See if they can get it back into Shaquille O'Neal once again against Longley. They got to let Pippen clear out of there. He's just lurking for the double team.
Pippen up, and did you see Horace Grant double clutch? Wow. Tied at 46. Kerr is open. Misses the three. Orlando's Horace Grant pulls down the rebound. He has 7 here in the first half. Dennis Scott on the penetration. Off the glass. Nice move by Scott.
Orlando's got to feel very good right now. They took a real emotional shot to the head to start this game, and they are up 2 points. And I keep talking about Michael's got 25, so he's playing great. The other guys right now are sort of lost. Dennis Scott taking the ball off the dribble, something we don't see a lot of. He attacks Tony Kukoc, who sort of waves at him as he goes by. The nice kiss off the glass up high. He has 3 points off the bench. Let's take a look here. Now, Scottie Pippen wants the double team off Horace Grant. So what does Horace Grant do? He flashes to the open area, and you find him for the shot. That will neutralize this guy. See, Scottie's laying right there waiting for the double team. Boom. Horace goes to the open area. That's what you have to be able to do. Guy's going to be the double teamer. You've got to go at him. That was a nice play by the Magic to find him in that open area.
Horace Grant only has 1 less rebound than the entire Bulls team of 8. Orlando on an 11-2 run in the last 2 minutes 45 seconds. Jordan has 27. Jordan is 10 of 13 from the floor tonight. The rest of the Bulls are 9 of 19.
Is Michael not 21 of his last 26 shots then?
Yes. Good. Mr. Matt. Up and under from Shaquille O'Neal.
Punish it. You got to punish it, Shaq. If he's going to fall, you got to keep going to him. They will not let him slop tonight in a game this big.
Jordan Not this time. Rebound Brian Shaw. Magic by 2, 50-48. Shaw, nice ball fake, takes it in off the glass. Brian Shaw and the Orlando bench has answered the call tonight. They're up by 4. Shaw has 9. Doug, you said the bench was going to be a story.
Well, Brian Shaw wears 20. That was my number. I want to find out what the numerology is on that tonight before Sager's finished.
Means he shoots a lot.
No conscience.
Exactly. Kerr for 3. Big bucket from Steve Kerr.
Yeah. And you know what? Brian Shaw says, I left him. I can't leave him.
Not for a second. Now Shaw's going to try to answer. He's been really active handling the ball. Hardaway on the bench a long time. Dennis Scott misses. Rebound. Kukoc. Bulls running. Pippen's way out in front.
Kerr again. Where's he at?
Spots up. Not this time. Look at the ball in. Kukoc. They wanted to wave it off for an offensive basket interference. No call, and the Bulls have regained the lead. Give the bucket to Tony Kukoc.
They should have wiped it off because Michael tipped it in, and then Kukoc touched it in the cylinder.
Let's see who they give the basket to. I believe it is Kukoc, yes. That's his first basket, by the way.
Well, if they give it to Kukoc, it was offensive goaltending.
Shaquille hard to the hoop, and he's fouled and will go to the free throw line. A little bit more aggressive going to the iron tonight. 5 lead changes in this game, and that's the 3rd on Longley.
All right, let's watch, Bob. All right, the shot goes up. Kerr's going to miss it. Pippen's going to tip it, and then here comes Michael. Here comes Michael right here. All right, stop it right there. That should not count.
Nevertheless, that also gave the Bulls the lead at 53-52 as Shaquille goes to the free throw line, where tonight he is 3 out of 4. Make it 4 out of 5.
Let's take another look here. Is it in the cylinder? We'll give the referees the benefit of the doubt since I'm coaching next year. Tell me that ball's not in the cylinder.
Longley sits down. He has 3 fouls, and Purdue is back in. And Shaquille's doing the number at the free throw line tonight. He has 12 points. He's 5 out of 6 from the line. Along with Doug Collins, Bob Neal with you from the United Center. Game 3, Eastern Conference semifinals. Chicago and Orlando. They're knotted at 1. And speaking of knotted, this game's been pretty close. It's right now a 1-point Orlando lead with 4:38 to go in the first half. Jordan already with 27 points. Kukoc going hard to the left. The shot blocked. Shaquille out of there with the Magic, playing with poise and confidence tonight. Horace Grant.
Boy, Horace is playing great. My gosh. He is playing a sensational game.
11 points for Horace Grant to go with 7 rebounds. 3-point Magic lead.
Remember now, he's got 2 fouls. He's got to be very careful not to pick up his 3rd. Foul trouble really hurt Shaq the other night.
Pippen slips inside from Hardaway, misses the lay-in. 3-point Magic lead. Make it 5, and that's the biggest lead. Hardaway finds Shaquille O'Neal. And expect Chicago to get a timeout here with the way they're playing. This time, Scottie Pippen sneaks down alone on the baseline, and Tony Kukoc picks up his 5th assist by getting him the ball. 3-point Magic lead.
All of Shaq's baskets are coming on transition. He's getting out and roaming pretty fast.
7 on the shot clock. There's Scott from the corner. Can't get it. He missed several big ones like this. Purdue can't get it. He fouls Shaquille, and he'll go to line for the 3-point play.
He's playing with passion. Look at the energy on his face. And it's carrying over to his team. He's the emotional leader of this team, Shaquille. His power, his energy. Look at him, the effort around the basket. He was not going to be denied. He goes up strong. They try to take the foul. That would have broken mine in your arms, and he gets the 3-point play.
6 of 7 from the field is Shaquille. 6 of 7 from the free throw line. And it is a 61-55 lead. This is the biggest lead of the game for the Magic. The Bulls have led by as many as 10 when it was 24-14. Kukoc to the hoop, unmolested. Horace Grant having to avoid picking up that 3rd foul.
That's the veteran of Horace Grant, though, saying, you know what? To give up those 2 points is a whole lot better than for me to get the 3rd foul right now, put my team in jeopardy.
3 minutes to go, first half. Orlando showing incredible poise. The lob to O'Neal from Scott. Of course, Kukoc trying to call for the offensive basket interference, but that's kind of the kettle and the pot and the glass house and the rocks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you down, Bob.
Okay. Pippen over Shaquille. Rebound, Nick Anderson, 63-57 Orlando.
Dennis Scott's going to make a jump shot here pretty soon.
Nick Anderson drives past Pippen.
Right
finds
there.
Scott.
Right there. That's
His
the one.
opportunity.
Wide
Air
open.
ball.
Thinking about it now.
3-on-1. 4-point Magic lead, 2:16 to go in the half. Huge miss there.
That's a 5-point swing.
Right.
And emotion. You hit the 3, you know, you're up 8. As it is right now, you're up 4. So those are the kinds that turn ball games around.
Look at this. Every Orlando player was above the 3-point line until just then when Anderson posts up, slips inside at Jordan. He's fouled. He gets a 3-point opportunity. One of the differences in this game, Doug, is that when the Orlando players are being fouled, they're getting the hoop and the free throw.
It's called being greedy and concentrating. You play through the whistle, try to get the 3-point play.
Back live at the United Center, Orlando down by 10 in the first quarter, now up by 6 coming up. Just a minute 55 from now, the Reebok halftime report. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar will be in the studios with Ernie Johnson, and they'll be talking live with the NBA's top West Coast fan, Billy Crystal in Los Angeles. Wonder who the biggest East Coast fan would be. Spike Lee, I guess. I don't know. Who designates that, Doug? Did you vote on that, by the way, the top West Coast and East Coast fans?
I would consider myself the top East Coast fan.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay, Spike, you're number 2. 65-59 Orlando. Minute 55 to go in the first half. Shaquille sits down. Horace Grant stays in the game, carrying his 2 fouls.
And I think it's vitally important for him not to get his 3rd, because it could change the whole second half. And I think it's important that Horace has got to be able to play real smart, and if it means giving up a couple baskets, and that's what he has to do.
That loose ball foul is on Anthony Avent, and he's picked up 3 fouls in very limited time tonight. Bulls opportunity. Crowd has been quietened here at the United Center. It was crazy the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game. Bulls don't get into an offense till they have 10 on the shot clock. Jordan leaning in from 17. Purdue gets the rebound. He's going to take it back and lose the ball. It's tied up with him and Horace Grant. Look at him battle for the ball. Kept waiting for a whistle. That looks like the broken triangle play we just watched. Jordan isolated.
When the triangle's in trouble, you get it to 23 and you say, Michael, bail us out.
That's the one thing you have to always put with the asterisk on how great the triangle offense is.
Triangle offense plus Michael.
65-61 Orlando. Less than a minute to go in the first half. The Magic have battled back with poise here in Chicago. 5 on the shot clock.
Penny Hardaway's pulling the string on that jump shot. He's not shooting it with confidence. He'd really like to get all the way to the basket, but they've got to make him make some of those jump shots before they're going to let him get to the basket.
The Bulls bench has only 3 points, and that's a 3-pointer from Kerr.
Remember now, it's 62, 30, or 24 in the first 2 ball games.
Hardaway on the drive. Tough shot, side of the backboard. Pippen handling in the open court so beautifully. 22nd timeout, Chicago. 17 seconds remaining in the half. We'll be joining Ernie Johnson Jr. and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in Atlanta for the Reebok halftime report just moments away from now. Then after this ball game tonight, we'll be going out on the West Coast for San Antonio at Los Angeles. One other reminder while we have a moment. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Doug and I will select the Budweiser player of the game. And here's one of the candidates.
Clock winding down, isolated side. Michael Jordan snaking between 2 players, hanging in the air. Just a routine shot for Michael Jordan that's spectacular for about 80% of the other people who play this game.
Speaking of percentage, Michael, 17 of Chicago's 46 field goal attempts, and he has 29 of Chicago's 61 points.
Well, I think that what the Magic would have to think is, look, we've got to hope that Michael's going to wear down, that we can continue to go at him, and that maybe late in the ball game when these other guys that have not got involved in the offense, we forced them to shoot the ball, that they're not going to be able to come through.
I think he plays better without the shoes that look like spats. What do you think?
You know what? I think you could put him in a pair of galoshes out there and he'd probably play well.
Jordan to the hole. He missed. Pippen. It's going to belong with 0.2 of a second to Orlando. So that'll be the last hurrah for this first half. Orlando down 10 points in the first quarter, have come back here to take a 4-point lead at the half, shooting 60%. And Shaquille O'Neal, 15 points in the second quarter, 20 in the game. Brian Hill said he was going to Shaquille early and often, and they have done just that. Orlando up by 4 at the half, 65-61, and that's after the Chicago Bulls jumped out to a 10-point lead in the first quarter, Doug Collins. And a lot of people, including myself, thought that the roof might cave in on this young Orlando team, but their poise and their coaching adjustments were really magnificent.
Well, I think Brian Hill talked about the surge was going to come, but they made all their shots. 5 turnovers in the first quarter, only 1 in the second. They did a better job getting Pippen out of the play where he couldn't be the guy to trap, and they really survived 29 big first half points from Michael. I really like their shot distribution.
Well, let's see what Brian Hill thinks about his team's first half performance. Greg?
Ryan, you go down 10 early. As Doug Collins says, you survived the knockdown punch and got the lead. What was the key to the emotional surge?
Well, we knew that early they were going to come out, they were going to have a lot of energy, and once again, Michael and Scotty were going to try to knock us out in the beginning of the game. But they made every shot, and that's all I said to the team is they've pulled up, they made every shot, they made them from long range. We're down 5 at the end of the first quarter. We're right where we want to be. Just keep our composure, keep playing, we'll be all right.
I'm not a coach, but Brian Shaw, 9 points in 8 minutes. I think I'd give him some more playing time.
Brian gave us a big lift tonight, a very big lift. His penetration was key. He made a big 3-point shot for us right there. And we think that's something we have to get against this basketball team, is be aggressive and look to penetrate as much as possible.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go back to Bob.
Thank you, Craig Sager and Brian Hill. It's time for the Budweiser game summary as we are just moments away from the beginning of the second half of play. And Doug, you talked at the beginning of the game how the Magic balanced their field goal attempts, making them a high-scoring team and a tough one to defend.
Well, I really like their shot distribution tonight. You can see 8-8 down to 5, but more importantly, Horace Grant and Shaquille O'Neal have attempted 14 field goals between them and have 31 points, which tells you that every time they shoot the ball, it's worth more than 2 points.
Now, take a look at the balancing act of Chicago. We might better call it Jordan's rules. You see already 18 shots in the first half.
Well, I think when you look at this guy right here and this guy and Steve Kerr off the bench have got to be able to get involved in the offense, because Michael Jordan and Scotty did a great job, but there's going to need more than 2 guys. Now, they combined for 60 in game 2. They're going to need more than that tonight if they're going to win with just the 2 players scoring.
Orlando going to O'Neal early. 20 first half points. He hits this one, and O'Neal has 22 points. He has answered the challenge and the bell, at least this far. And Doug, you said that was something he had to do, step up and be an MVP-type center.
We talked about the bench and Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille's delivering. The bench outscores Chicago 13-3 in the first half. 2 keys. That's why they have the lead.
5 on the shot clock for Pippen. Kukoc with the extra pass. B.J. Armstrong has to force the shot. Chicago looking out of sync here. By the way, speaking of Kukoc, the official scorer at halftime changed that Kukoc tip-in that you said if he got credit for would have been offensive basket interference, and gave the basket to Michael Jordan. Oh, he needed it. Now credit him with 31.
Poor Tony goes, wait a second, I've got 4. Michael's got 29. Take 2 of my points away from me.
Coles to Newcastle. 8 on the shot clock for Orlando. Magic up by 7. Shot clock winding down. Nick Anderson throws up a desperation shot. Kukoc with the rebound.
That's a very poor possession that time by Orlando.
Magic by 6. 10:42 to go. Opening moments, third quarter from the United Center.
You know, B.J. Armstrong had a good 12 minutes, hit 2 threes, had 6 points, played well, did not play at all in the second quarter.
He starts strong here with a beautiful switch to his left hand and a finger roll. And B.J., despite not playing in that second quarter, has 8 points.
Well, he had 6 points and 3 assists and did not play at all in the second quarter. So Phil decided to go to either Steve Kerr or Pete Myers.
4-point Magic lead. Hardaway's pull-up jumper goes down.
That was a more aggressive shot. He didn't pull the string. He's at 6'7". B.J. Armstrong cannot contest that jump shot.
Michael Jordan with 31 points, and we're opening the second half. B.J. Armstrong looks for Pippen and finds him. Shot clock down to 9 seconds. Now 8 seconds. It'll be Chicago ball. Again, the Bulls looking out of sync with that triangle offense they're trying to run here at the beginning of the second half.
Well, when they get out of sync, what they do is they break it, and they allow Scotty, Michael, and Tony to play one-on-one. So if they continue to struggle, and we saw this in the third quarter against Charlotte, the game we were here at home last time.
Shaquille blocks Jordan. He follows his own miss, and Shaquille gets the rebound.
Remember in game 4 here when Chicago just went stone cold on this basket in the second half? I think it's a mental block. They've talked to themselves about this basket all year long.
Orlando's Shaquille O'Neal has 3 blocks already. That miss, and Chicago comes back strong. B.J. hard to the hole, followed by Jordan. Rebound. Horace Grant out to Hardaway against Longley.
Oh, look at that quick move.
And he's fouled and hauled to the floor by Scottie Pippen. You're right about the basket. Michael Jordan came out at the halftime, the one on our left, the opposite end of the floor. Michael came out and practiced free throws more than I normally see him do it. And a couple of the players actually stand up and look at it.
I don't know if they feel it's the depth perception, or I don't think the rim is any tighter. We know the rim, the field goal is not any higher. So it comes down to a mental thing right now. And remember, we saw Chicago almost kick away a game against Charlotte that would have forced them to go back in game 5 in their building.
Right. Hardaway's free throw gives Orlando their biggest lead of 8 points.
We need to also talk about that the road team gets to choose which basket they want to start at. So if you'd say, why would Chicago choose that basket? They don't. That the road team gets the choice.
Kukoc with a pull-up jumper. Kind of floated through up a knuckleball. It's going to be Orlando ball. 8-point Magic lead here. Kukoc only 1 of 6 field goal attempts in this ballgame.
See if Anthony Hardaway keeps attacking against BJ. He's going right into the post right now to an isolation. If they get the double team, Horace will get the jump shot.
And he gets it. Off the double team, rims it out of there. Longley with the rebound. You're so precipient. I really miss you. B.J. Armstrong drains the 3. I'm going to have to actually watch the game instead of knowing what's going to happen before it happens. 71-66, Orlando, 8:28 to go, third quarter.
Again, Orlando must control surges. They do not want to allow Chicago any runs.
How about that? Longley picking up a hand-checking foul on Shaquille O'Neal, 24 feet from the basket.
See, the Magic like to swing the ball back through Shaq, and then he swings it over to a guard coming off the screen and immediately goes into a quick pick and roll. They're denying that pass from Shaquille to the guard, and it's forcing Shaquille to make a dribble handoff. They're disrupting the timing of the play. Brian Hill's going to have to look at that to see what he wants to do in that situation, because the Bulls are running them out of that set.
Bulls with 2 team fouls early here in the third quarter, none on Orlando. Wennington in for Longley, who picked up number 4. The no-look pass to Grant. Rebound Pippen. Jordan avoids the steal.
Timeout.
BJ in the corner.
Timeout if he hits this one.
8 minutes to go in the third quarter. 10 rebounds to go with 11 points for Horace Grant. Hardaway with that incredible quickness blew right by Bill Wennington, and Phil Jackson is going to get the timeout, trailing 73-66. Orlando by 7. This is an interesting way to play the pick and roll, Doug.
All right, what Chicago likes to do, we're going to run this thing forward a little bit, and I'll tell you when we're going to stop. We stop it right there. This means BJ's pushing this baseline. When Shaquille sees this, he's going right to the basket looking for a lob. Winnington must stop him, and Pippen must step in and prevent against the lob. Hardaway turns the corner. No one gets there soon enough, and it's a two-point layup for Anthony Hardaway.
And some slow defense on the part of Bill Winnington. Bulls with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Kukoc posted against Dennis Scott into the paint. Not even close. Rebound, Pippen. He draws the foul. Michael Jordan, by the way, 0 for 3 this quarter after coming out 5 for 5 in the first period. And we don't want to make too much more of it. We've made the point, and that is that the Bulls have trouble shooting at this particular end of the floor. Here's a big piece of news. Shaquille O'Neal committed that foul, and it's his third. Chevy scoreboard last night scores. Tremendously exciting game. Indiana beating New York in overtime. You were talking about Reggie Miller and the incredible dunk, and Phoenix on a roll at home. Don't we remember you and I working the Houston Phoenix series last year, and it started out 2-0 last year.
Yeah, and the thing about that was Houston lost both games at home, went to Phoenix and was down 14 in game 3 at the end of the first quarter, and came back, won that game, won the second one, and then go home and end up winning that series, winning 4 of the last 5. Pretty incredible. I don't think it's the same Houston team, though, this year, and Phoenix is playing great.
So basically, you and I were there when Houston effectively won the World Championship.
Yes, we were.
On that 14-point comeback.
NBC gets the credit, but we really were there.
73-67, the whistle away from the ball by Steve Javie. And speaking of our esteemed colleagues at NBC, they will have game 4 of this series at 5:30 Eastern time on Sunday. We'll be back, Doug and I, in Orlando. That game time, by the way, depends on what happens in other series, is why they don't know the time yet. 73-67 Orlando, 7:05 to go, third quarter. Game at a bit of a lull right here.
See, Kukoc will not leave Dennis Scott, so somebody else is going to flash to the basket. This time Shaq goes up and takes it himself.
Pippen with the rebound. He has 6. Kukoc was alone for that shot, elected to give it up. B.J. Armstrong. This is the 3. Grant run over by Winnington. No foul call. 73-67 Orlando. Bulls ice cold here in the third quarter.
And Orlando must take advantage of it. They must be able to get a little bit of a cushion in this building, because we know the Bulls will finish strong.
Dennis Scott on the drive, runs right into his own man, follows off the glass. Dennis Scott.
See, Dennis Scott's not just falling in love with that three-point shot tonight. He's pump faking, putting on the floor. We've seen him hit 2 little kiss shots off the glass.
Chicago 2 of 11 at this end of the floor.
How about Horace Grant working hard on Scottie Pippen here, forcing the outside jump shot.
Is that amazing? 2 of 12. Pippen usually knocks that one down when he's uncontested. A chance for the Magic to build a 10-point lead. And they do it on Shaquille's pass to Horace Grant. This Magic team, remember they lost game 2 to Boston at Orlando and came back and beat Boston in the Garden. But as Penny Hardaway said, Chicago is not Boston. Nevertheless, leading by 10. 10 on the shot clock. Winnington open. He finally knocks one down.
Now we know
it's an 8-point Orlando lead.
Sorry, Bob. We know that that's his game. Shaq will not come out to play him, so he will be the pressure release. And if he's hitting that shot, he can shoot them back in this quarter.
Got 14 in one quarter in game number 1. Shaquille hard to the hoop, misses it.
He's got to get back down the floor, though. He can't talk to the referees. They need him down the floor. He has still not got across half court.
The no-look lob into Kukoc, who can't handle the ball, and Jordan gives him a look that you don't want to get from Michael. Tony Kukoc not aware, even though he was posted against a mismatch.
Watch now, when Horace Grant goes to the basket, Scottie Pippen double teams and no one rotates up. It's supposed to be Tony Kukoc to take the cutter, so he's not coming out for the turnover. He's coming out for the defensive play that he did not make.
Kukoc, you say, if he doesn't get involved early, drifts. He has drifted in this game. Dennis Scott misses the bank shot this time. Pippen outlet Armstrong, Jordan on the left. Armstrong pushed by Horace Grant. Count it! And the foul. And B.J. Armstrong has 13. and that's the third on Horace Grant.
Horace Grant with a little touch foul, and B.J. Armstrong very active in this quarter. There's a little bump, and a nice finish by B.J. Armstrong. When the shots aren't going, you must get to the basket, and that's what B.J. does. He's now 5 for 10 in the game, and he's been really their sole source of offense here in this quarter.
Matter of fact, the only other basket came from Scottie Pippen. As BJ's numbers, 6.5 points, has been averaging, struggling throughout the playoffs. Tonight, double that. And more.
If you're Orlando right now, you know, you're kicking yourself a little bit because as badly as Chicago's struggling in this quarter offensively, you've only gained a point.
Brian Shaw, Anderson, Grant, Shaquille, stolen by Whittington. Foul on Brian Shaw. Chicago about to come back with a surge here, and the crowd reawakens at the United Center.
What Phil Jackson always does is when he needs a surge, he goes with his defensive team. So he's got Bushler in the game right now instead of Kukoc. Look for them to pick up the pressure. Orlando's got to scrap it on right now.
Jordan from 13. Rebound, Bushler.
See, that's what those are little hustle plays. Remember, Bob, we talked early in the first half.
That's what he brings. Jordan, hard to the hoop. The reverse from Michael. They're on their feet. 33 points for Jordan. His first basket of this quarter.
Let's see the poise of the Magic. Under this kind of pressure, if they don't score in this possession, they need a timeout.
Shaquille against Whittington. Michael with the double team. Shaquille softly off the glass. They didn't score. Let's see about the timeout. 7 straight Chicago points. Jordan into the paint. Blocked by Horace Grant.
That was a great block by Horace. Remember, he's got 3 fouls right now, so a little bit of a risky play. I think the Magic have to be very careful right now. They need a good field goal attempt.
Back into Shaquille, back to Brian Shaw. Illegal defense called on Chicago.
See, I hate that rule. I think they really got to take a long look at that. Michael Jordan goes away from the double team. You got to force him back to the double team, but look at the spectacular finish.
Now spectacular. Watch Horace Grant. This is the next time down.
And Michael exposing the ball with that left hand, and Horace Grant goes up and sends it back.
Nick Anderson hit the technical free throw while we were looking at the replay. It's a 4-point Orlando lead with 3:31 to go in the quarter. And Pete Myers is into the ball game for Michael Jordan.
Let's keep our eye now on the score. Michael will probably get the rest of this quarter to rest. Can the Magic take advantage of it, push themselves up to a little bit of a lead, give themselves some cushion going back into that quarter?
Myers will play the defense on Anthony Hardaway.
Well, see, Scotty was illegal. He got away with one there.
They're going to try it again. Now 8 to play. Hardaway pulling up, missing. Rebound by Whittington to Bushler. Bulls down 4.
The only substitution the Magic have made in this quarter is Brian Shaw. Their starters have gone all the way.
Look at that move by Pippen. Oh, the change of direction, the pull-up, the jump hook. Scottie Pippen, 16 points, 8 rebounds. It's a 2-point game. Brian Shaw fouled by B.J. Armstrong. This is incredible poise in the paint.
Watch this, though. He's like a ballet dancer. So great. What they call a tourniquet.
A what? A what?
Orlando
vintage
leads.
Michael.
All right, let's wait here. Isolated side. You want to push him to help. Here comes the guy for the double team. They let him get to the outside, and he ends up going by 3 people. Here comes the double team. It doesn't mean anything. Shaq is too slow getting there. And then another poster by Michael Jordan. New shoes, new number again.
New poster.
And new face on the poster.
Look at this. The wraparound from Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, however, 20 points in the first half, has only 2 in this quarter. Michael resting probably for the remainder of the quarter, depending on what happens, with 2:42 to go. And the Bulls down by 2.
Shaquille O'Neal also having a seat, so both coaches going to try to rest their superstars for that stretch run. But Orlando right now really needs to try to, again, push a little cushion. B.J. Armstrong, 8 to 15 points. So we talked about someone else stepping up. It's been B.J. Armstrong in this quarter.
Magic by 2. Here's the trap out high on Hardaway. Anderson now isolated on Bushler. Tough defensive job for Judd. play. Judge stayed in front of him. Avent with the rebound.
That's what they need on Anthony Avent. Now he's going to give him another possession, so they're going to keep the Bulls on defense this time, 40-plus seconds.
Pick and roll. Well played. They've got the switch. Shaw. This is the short jumper. Follows. Pippen with another rebound. He has 9 rebounds.
Scotty's going to shoot a three.
Big bucket from Pippen. Bulls regain the lead. Now the pressure.
You can see it all the way in Scottie Pippen. He loves to pull up and shoot that three. A 10-point lead out the window right now. 12-run run by Magic. Excuse me, by the Bulls.
Magic has not scored but 1 point in the last 3:40. Offensive foul on Hardaway.
Watch the hook on the left arm by Hardaway as he starts to go around right there on Scottie Pippen. So you know what's happened too, as Michael is set down emotionally, this Bulls team has cranked it up right now. So they are playing with more fire and emotion with Michael resting.
Good point. Chicago 5-0 since he sat down.
It's been that guy right there.
Yes. Scottie Pippen now with 21 points. Jordan on the bench with 33, and the Bulls on a 14-1 run have regained the lead. Listen to the crowd. The Bulls have regained the lead, 81-78 with 107 to go in the third, outscoring Orlando 14-1 in the last 4:22. Since Michael sat down, Scottie Pippen has scored all 7 Chicago points.
Well, Scottie takes on a different role when Michael sits down. He's the guy now that takes the basketball. Scottie, this is the big pull-up three that gave the Bulls their lead in this quarter at 79-78. And then Scottie once again on the baseline. BJ splits the double team, the good ball movement. Scottie Pippen once again spotting up and hitting the open jump shot. But I think more importantly, through all of this, Michael 29 in the first half, or 31 if you count the other tip in. In this quarter, he has 2. Pippen has 8. BJ has 8. Whittington has 2. So other guys getting involved, which I think bodes very well for Chicago going into this fourth quarter.
107 to go here in the third, 81-78. Shaquille O'Neal is back in the game, carrying 3 fouls.
You see, he wasn't able to ride out the quarter because the Bulls here have a chance to push it to 5 or 7, and Brian Hill does not want to climb uphill going into that fourth quarter.
B.J. Armstrong, intense defense on Shaw. Here is Nick Anderson. Nice baseline leader in front of Pete Myers.
Has a big possession right there. Quiet this crowd.
1 point, Bulls lead, under a minute to go, third quarter. Pippen has scored all 7 Chicago points since Michael Jordan sat down.
Get ready to go for 9 here if they don't come back and double team him.
10 on the shot clock. Up and over. Not this time. Rebound, Anthony Avent doing a pretty good job on the boards here in the second half.
See, Shaq, they should go right in the post to Shaq and let him go right at Bill Whittington before they can get the defense set and the double team up.
And they're going to go to Shaq, 10 on the shot clock. Here comes the double team. Powers it into the middle, but he traveled. Wave off the basket. 15.4 to go in the quarter. Bulls still lead by 1, and Michael is going to come back in with Steve Kerr. Whittington and Myers sit. Shaquille O'Neal 1 of 4 this quarter for only 2 points. Michael Jordan has only 2 this quarter.
Well, the Bulls are going to go for 1 shot. They have 5 guards on the floor, all of them 3-point threats. So they're going to spread the court, get something going to the rim. Someone helps, they'll kick it out, they'll shoot the open J. If not, they'll take the ball all the way to the basket. No shot blockers in the game for the Magic right now. So the basket will be exposed. Both Horace Grant and Shaquille O'Neal sitting down.
See the time remaining in the quarter. Pippen's going to just take it hard to the hoop. Softly misses the lay-in. And Hardaway throws a ball off the shot clock, probably breaking it as we end the 3 quarters here at the United Center. And the Bulls have regained the lead, 81-80 behind Scottie Pippen's 7 points after Michael took a rest. The Bulls have the lead. amazed that all those lights are on in downtown Chicago as you get a lakefront view of the beautiful skyline, because I thought everybody was here in the United Center.
They are.
At least in heart, I'm sure. As we begin the final 12 minutes here, the Bulls lead it by 1. Michael Jordan with 33 points, Scottie Pippen with 21.
Michael will be the leader of this team on the floor right now. Scottie Pippen is sitting down for a rest. He was very, very important as they made that run to take the lead going into the fourth quarter.
Now, we've talked, Doug, about Shaquille O'Neal and his lack of production for Orlando in the playoffs. You look at the third quarter scoring with Jordan basically on the bench. Now in the fourth quarter, let's see what Shaquille comes up with offensively for his team. Winnington travels.
Also, to keep your eye on Steve Kerr. He has really hurt this team. Anthony Bowie's playing him. Anthony Bowie is a guy who has a tendency to help off the ball. So Kerr will make you pay if you do that. So we'll keep our eye on Steve Kerr. He's been the guy playing the important minutes in the fourth quarter.
You know, that was only the second Chicago turnover since the first quarter. The steal by Kukoc. Bulls have the numbers. Tony. Clutch fake. And the Bulls up by 3. Only 4 points in this game for Kukoc.
Hardaway sitting down. Brian Shaw has got to control this team right now. Got to keep them in the game. So Nick Anderson, Anthony Hardaway will be strong at the finish.
Shaquille misses the little turnaround jumper. Winnington with the rebound. They've gone to Shaquille twice. Once a steal. The second time the missed shot.
He's 1 for 5 this half after being 7 for 8 in the first half, and he's getting nothing in transition. Remember those 2 or 3 baskets he got in dunks in the open floor? Right now, the Bulls are laying on his pass. Now, we're going to watch this. The ball's going to go inside. We stop this right here. Look at this. See, Tony is not clearing through. So when that ball goes in, he's coming in from behind. They must make Kukoc go through before they try to get the ball into the post. You must make that man clear and get legal. There's Kerr.
Remember, 4-3 from Michael. A 6-point Bulls lead.
You cannot leave Steve Kerr.
Shaw, who picked up the foul on the previous play, misses the lay-in. The Bulls on a 19-3 run. Tony Kukoc, whose head has been in the clouds for some of this game, turns it over.
Okay, and why? Because he got off to a very slow start offensively. I've said that all along. When you get him in the game early, he plays very well on both ends. If you don't, he has a tendency to drift, and tonight's been one of those nights.
Only 4 points. 86-80 Chicago, 10-18 to go in the game.
It's now an offensive foul on Anthony Bowie.
Yes.
I think Orlando's got to go to something else here. They're becoming so predictable. Every time down, they're getting the ball to Shaq. They got to get some movement in their offense. Right now, the Bulls are just laying on that and waiting to defend it.
Bulls up by 6. 19-3. They have outscored Orlando in the last 5 minutes. Kukoc on the right hand, drives, kicks to Jordan.
Watch Kerr once again. He's open. You can't leave him.
Pull-up jumper from Steve Kerr, not his shot. Nick Anderson has Orlando running with the advantage of the numbers. The lob to Grant. My goodness. Grant with a great catch and throw down from Brian Shaw. Bulls by 4.
Yeah, I think he hurt his back. He's had back spasms before. We'll have to keep our eye on Horace Grant.
No question. He is in pain right now. We're speaking of Horace Grant. See if he can play through it, loosen it up.
Well, there's no question he's going to play through it. Is he going to be effective? That'll be the real key.
5 to shoot. Kukoc out of control. Orlando only down 4. Anderson thought about the 3.
I think you got a Horace Grant out of there and let Nick Anderson play one-on-one.
The foul on Judd Bushler. And we have a timeout with 9:14 to go. And here's Horace Grant with a great catch.
See, he's sort of extended there, and he's hanging up there to prevent himself from falling. And you watch him grab his left side. And he's had some problems with back spasms.
Time for the Dutch boy in the paint. Shaquille's first half. Shaquille's second half, and look at the difference in the rebounding.
Yeah, and I think that you told me during break that the Magic have not yet won a playoff game when they've out-rebounded their opponents, so maybe they want to let the Bulls creep ahead in the rebounds.
Interesting step.
Now here's Shaquille O'Neal. This is where he's got to make his mark as the MVP of this league. He misses his tip dunk, but the fourth quarter, as we've talked about during the playoffs, and you can see this is in 5 games. He scored a total of 22 points, which is a little over 4 points a quarter in the fourth quarter. Tonight, he's 1 for 6 in the entire second half after a big first half.
9:10 to go, Bulls by 4. Stolen by Winnington, regained by Shaw. Back to Shaquille. 10 on the shot clock. Bushler in the face of Grant. 3 times into Shaquille O'Neal. Good defense by the Bulls. Bushler, a big part of that.
Have you noticed that every time Shaquille catches it, it's always on the same side of the floor? I think they got to find, maybe get him to the other side. The Bulls are locked in on that right now, and he's shooting over 1 or 2 guys each time.
Michael Jordan open for the jumper. Not this time, not at this end.
Yes, good call. Michael does not like this end of the floor, Bob. We know that, and he's showing it again once tonight. 1 for 7 in this half.
Into Shaquille, wide open for that jam, spinning inside of Winnington.
And where was he? He was on the other side of the floor underneath the rim. He got away from that
Different
left
look.
block. That's
Different
right.
look.
You got to give guys different looks in the playoff. Teams load up on you, know exactly what you want to do.
Bulls by 2 points. Winnington is going to try the jump hook in the lane. Rebound Brian Shaw. Chance for the Magic to tie or regain the lead with 8 minutes remaining in the game. Nick Anderson inside to Shaw. Double dribble. It'll be Chicago ball. Craig, what have you found out about Horace Grant and his back injury?
Well, you guys were right. He did aggravate the injury. For the past 2 or 3 weeks, his back has been fine. During off days, he uses electronic stimulation. During game days, a heat pad. The heat pad is over on the bench, so if he needs a rest, they will probably put the heat on for a couple of minutes, and he'll go back out.
Thank you, Craig.
Will
Phil
Purdue
Jackson with an argument trying to get some players into the game, and Bernie Fryer's not going to let him in.
He wanted to get Will Purdue in the game. They ruled he was not at the table in time, so Winnington will have to play this possession. So, Bill, what you need to do is just step out and hit a shot so Phil won't take you out the next time. Let's see if we can do something like that.
Tony Kukoc not even looking for the pass from Jordan.
Boy, Tony is out of it tonight. He is really out of it.
He is going to be, I thought, out of it and off the floor, but he's staying on the floor as Winnington sits down.
Well, Tony steps up to the pinch post. He looks like he wants to set a screen for Michael. Michael thinks he wants the ball.
2 for 9, Kukoc is from the floor. 3 turnovers. Steve Javy with the whistle as Anthony Bowie hits the floor, and the foul will be called on Will Purdue. Coming up right after this game, we'll be going out to the West Coast. San Antonio and the Los Angeles Lakers. Spurs leading that series 2-0 as the Lakers get ready to see if they can defend the fabulous Forum. Inside to Shaquille. He's balled, but he lays it in anyway, and a chance for the Magic to regain the lead in this game. It has been a game of seesaw scoring runs.
Yeah, and what's happened? We're going to watch this play again. We're going to stop it right here. Shaquille O'Neal is stopped right. He's right here. He's not just posting, so he's on the move down to the block, and this causes the Bulls problems.
Shaquille missing from the free throw line. He struggled there tonight after performing 13 of 20 pretty well in the other game.
Now it's who wants it most, Bob. It's a tie game in a playoff heat.
Jordan gets the 2 over Anthony Bowie. When you say who wants it most, the name Jordan will almost always pop up. I don't know if I've ever seen a more fierce competitor. Hardaway. Bowie on the leaner. Rebound Pippen. That's 10 rebounds for Scotty to Kukoc.
Kerr's over here wide open for 3.
Into Michael Jordan on the baseline. The foul! And he'll go to the line. Michael Jordan has 37 points.
The awareness of Steve Kerr getting to him so quickly. You're going to watch the Magic defender run at him. And then Michael Jordan once again. When you're going to prevent him from making a layup, you better grab both arms. You better not give him any kind of chance at all to finish a shot.
Hardaway just picked up his 3rd personal. Bulls by 4. Timeout on the floor with 6:52 to go in the game. 3 team fouls on the Bulls, 2 against Orlando. 6:52 to go in this ball game. Bulls by 4. Let's review what's happened. The first thing that happened is number 23 came out on fire, hit 5 out of his first 5 shots. In the second quarter, Shaquille O'Neal showed why he's an MVP candidate. Scottie Pippen replaced Jordan on the bench in the third. And in the fourth quarter, Michael is back again. And the 4-point Bulls lead. Jordan carrying 37 points. Pippen 21. O'Neal 24. Michael Jordan had 2 points the first 16 minutes and 42 seconds of this half. 4 points in the last 26 seconds.
Well, it's that Michael Jordan time once again, and I said score was 86 all, and I said now it comes down to who wants it the most. Well, Michael scored the last 5 points of the game. It comes down to execution now, under pressure, if you're this young Magic team.
Kukoc playing Dennis Scott. Off the pick and roll.
They need him to hit a shot.
Pippen got right into his face, but Scott drops the 3, and that was big. It's now a 2-point Chicago lead. This one's going to be a good one down the wire. Scott only 1 for 4 from 3, and Bowie with the hand check on Michael Jordan. And the team fouls are building up here. Both the Bulls and the Magic have committed 3 team fouls apiece.
You'd like a foul to waste going in the last 2 minutes against Michael Jordan so you can defend him. Otherwise, you're going to put him on the foul line. Then you said, yeah, he hasn't been shooting the free throws. Tonight, he has not missed.
Exactly. Jordan posted against Anthony Bowie. Spins so quickly by him, but first the travel.
You know what? People are going, wait a second.
Time you saw a travel called on Michael.
They're saying, Hugh, do you remember who this is? Michael doesn't walk. That's a good call. He shuffled his pivot foot.
You know, it's the shoot.
Watch O'Neal here for a dunk going to the front of the rim on this pick and roll.
Against Will Perdue. Double team coming. Scott on the drive. Michael broke up that pass. Shaquille came in. Perdue, good defense. Shaquille down. 3-on-1. Kukoc is fouled hard by Anthony Bowie.
Michael, I don't think Michael liked that, and I'll tell you why. Because Michael was running hard on the left side.
Yeah.
And I think he wanted the ball from Scottie that time to finish it, rather than to go to Tony Kukoc.
I agree.
Shaquille again trying to power up. He's out of balance. And watch Scottie. He looks off Michael.
They're going to call a flagrant foul on that.
Wow, that's
on Anthony Bowie. That'll mean 2 free throws, and the Bulls get the ball back. Kukoc, who hasn't taken, but that's only his 4th free throw in the series.
Well, we'll have to keep our eye. This could be a big play. Instead of being down 2, they could go down to 6 or 7. Let's watch Anthony Bowie now. I don't know. That, I think that, I don't think Anthony Bowie made anything by that. It was a little bit of a hard foul, and I know what the rule states, and you don't want 2 teams going at each other. If this were New York and Indiana, I could say, yeah, I'll call that. But in this series, I don't know. I don't see these 2 teams taking that kind of shots at each other.
No, a kinder, gentler series.
Very much so.
Kukoc posting against Dennis Scott.
Let's play one-on-one, and they're now over the penalty. So if he can get to the into the lane, it'll be a foul.
Pippen, this is badly run down by Horace Grant. 93-89, Bulls by 4, 5:38 to go in the game.
So they didn't get penalized by the flagrant foul.
Double team on Shaquille. Horace Grant open to the rim. He's fouled. Misses the jam. Steve Kerr picked up his first personal on that play. And Horace Grant got popped in the mouth as payment for his troubles as he cuts to the rim.
See, the ball goes inside, and Shaquille gets bailed out there because he jumped in the air. Unfortunately, Horace at 6'10" was able to outreach Michael Jordan. Michael was reaching to step in that lane to try to pick off that pass.
Horace Grant, 1 of 2 from the line, 15 points, 13 boards in this game. Knocks this one down. More NBA playoffs continue this weekend on NBC. We'll have game 3 of the Suns Rockets at 1 on Saturday at 3:30. Game 4 Knicks Pacers, and then on Sunday NBC has a triple header while Doug and I kick back and enjoy ourselves. 12:30 Suns Rockets, 3 o'clock Spurs Lakers, 5:30 Magic Bulls.
And happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers out there on Sunday. We will not be able to say that, so we need to get that in now.
Thank you. I thought of that, Mom. I just had Doug say it. Coach. Spins into the middle. Kukoc coming alive late in this game. Bulls by 4.
And watch Tony's defense pick up now that he's involved in the game offensively. They got to be very aware he'll get out into the passing lane, maybe get a steal.
The drive by Hardaway. Big time clutch player down the end is Anthony. It's a 2-point game. Both teams will be in the penalty on the next foul with just under 5 minutes remaining in this game. Pippen's pull-up jumper was partially blocked, and the foul is going to be called on Dennis Scott.
That's why you want to have fouls to waste. Dennis Scott's going to put him at the free throw line for 2. Scottie Pippen, last time he was up there, missed 2 free throws. So, as we always know how important free throw shooting is, come fourth quarter time and 1 under 5 minutes.
Pippen came into this game an 83% free throw shooter for the series, 3 for 4 at the line tonight. 22 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and now Longley and Myers are going to get in as Will Perdue sits down and Steve Kerr goes to the bench.
Oh, why the substitutions? Because they want Myers to play Hardaway instead of Steve Kerr. He beat him on the screen roll last time, jumped over the top of him. They want bigger defenders, so they got Myers, Jordan, and Pippen now matched up against the 3 perimeter players of Orlando.
Pippen with 2 big free throws. Bulls by 4. 4:37 to go in the game.
This is where you get into the strategy at the end of ball games. They want Myers dogging Hardaway, not letting him turn the corner. He's as big as Hardaway and can get up with him and bother his shot.
10 to shoot. Hardaway kicks it over to Anderson for a 3.
Boy, that's big. That is big. Nick Anderson shoots so well and plays so great in this building.
Well, he went to high school about 4 miles from here at Simeon. Feels comfortable in the neighborhood. 97-96 Bulls.
Michael's wide open. Somebody lost him under the basket.
And he draws the foul. Will go to the line.
Orlando switches on so many of the interchange that the Bulls run because they have equal-sized players that sometimes you get in trouble. You start switching. It's like a revolving door. You start pointing to each other, and pretty soon a guy breaks to the open area. I think you have to be very careful, especially the way the Bulls run their offense. They're able to read that and move to the open spot.
Jordan perfect from the line tonight. Hardaway, by the way, on that play, picked up his 4th personal foul. 39 for Michael. 9 of 9 from the line. We'll be going out to Vern Lundquist and Chuck Daly at the Forum in Los Angeles for Game 3 in the Spurs-Lakers series right after this one. Bulls by 3. 4 minutes remaining. Michael has 40.
Watch the high screen roll. Watch Shaquille going to the basket for the lob.
How about Hardaway? Just kept coming. Scott for 3. Rebound Hardaway. Anderson for 3. And the Magic, remember, they were one of the highest scoring teams all season long.
All right, Bob, I'm gonna give you my little formula here. First team to 100 wins about 90% of the time in the NBA. Pippen shooting free throws. Let's see if it holds true tonight.
It's tied at 99-99.
That's what I'm saying.
Grant picked up his 4th personal. Okay, this is a limb.
That 100-point barometer, it's amazing in the NBA. When teams score under 100, when they score over 100, what the percentage of the games you win. And the team that gets there first, I'm telling you, a lot of times.
This becomes an incredibly big free throw for the game, possibly.
Yeah, we could just call it off if Scotty makes this. We just turn it off and go home.
But buy all the sponsors' products.
That's true.
Chicago.
I'd be like Skip Carey. I'll be getting in trouble here about walking the dog.
100-99, Chicago. 3:34 to go in the game. Shaquille has once again been quiet in the 4th quarter. Myers trying to play Hardaway. 10 on the shot clock. Pippen near steal. 6 on the shot clock.
Got to go with it.
Lower left, you see it counting down. 3. Hardaway unmolested into the paint. Missed the shot. Kept alive by Longley. Kukoc in the open floor. That was a tremendously big miss and ball possession for the Bulls.
It was a great effort just to get the shot off. Watch the reverse by Michael on this weak side. He wants to go baseline.
Kicks it to Pete Myers.
And what you do with
Pippen strips it loose from Anderson. Picked up by Grant. Incredible hustle there underneath the Chicago basket.
See, now Pete Myers gives you defense, but you lose outside shooting with him on the floor.
Myers trying to defend. Dennis Scott backing him in. And we're going to get the foul on Myers. A chance for Orlando to take the lead. Shaquille O'Neal on the bench in the fourth quarter has only 2 points. He has been quiet in the fourth quarter of every playoff game. You see what's left here timeout-wise. 2-1 for Orlando, 3-1 for Chicago. Nobody with a foul to give.
We've seen all playoff series long. It's been Nick Anderson with the big shots. It's been Anthony Hardaway. But the one thing about it, if Shaquille will continue to draw those double teams, then his teammates must respond with open shots. So all the time, it doesn't mean that you have to score, but you have to create opportunities for your team. And now on the other end, defensively, he's got to wipe away anything coming to the basket. We've got 2:35 to go right now. Nothing easy. Kerr in the game for Myers. Why? Shooting.
Myers fouled Dennis Scott before we went to the commercial. Scott 1 of 1 from the line tonight. It's tied at 100.
And, you know, for as good a shooter as Dennis Scott is on the year, he's not a great free throw shooter because he doesn't get there that often.
Not much penetration from Scott. Plays the perimeter. Gets them both this time. The Magic by a point with 2:35 to go. The 7th lead change in the game.
Now the Bulls like to run a play here for Michael going out the weak side and reversing back, so they cannot let him reverse back.
Turnaround fadeaway. That ain't going to go in. Rebound, Shaquille O'Neal.
Hardaway should be able to go at Steve Kerr. Someone's got to help him out.
Hardaway has to call timeout. And he's looking at Scott and says, you've got to be here to help me. So that takes away the only 20 that Orlando had. They now have 2 full timeouts remaining.
They want a 20. That's what we saw in the first half. Leaving Hardaway exposed down here. Pippen with the double team and no one coming back to the basketball. So, Bob, you're always taught when you attack pressure, you keep a man behind the ball 15 to 18 feet, so you always got a reversal.
Dennis Scott, the man they wanted to get back that time. Scott not an excellent ball handler on the offensive end. Magic have the lead by 1 with 2:15 to go.
Now they only have 3 seconds to get across half court. At 14,
point.
It's a violation.
17 on the shot clock right now.
The Bulls are going to pressure and trying to get them to throw the ball back. They do not want them throwing the ball into the front court. See if Shaquille can bust open and get the quick pass.
This will be interesting. Good point, Doug. 3 seconds to get it across the timeline. Dennis Scott, is he going to even get it in? Bump loose by Pippen. And he's fouled.
That was a foul. They were very fortunate. I thought Scottie Pippen came over the back of Horace Grant. That's what happens when you get caught with that time. What Dennis Scott should have done there, at worst, call a timeout or throw it to the other end of the floor. Those are big possessions right there. Watch Dennis Scott. He throws it. Now tell me, it's like some incidental contact there. Not enough to call the foul. The one thing he did do, he prevented Scottie Pippen from getting the layup.
Scottie Pippen 5 of 7 from the line tonight. 2:11 to go. Pippen misses this free throw. He missed 2 of his last 3. This one will tie it if he sinks it to 11 in the game.
Pete Myers back into the game once again for Steve Kerr defensively to play against Anthony Hardaway. This is where Anthony Hardaway has got to be tough under pressure.
Who coach defending Dennis Scott? 2 minutes to go in this ball game.
And we got a tie.
Shaquille kicks it to Hardaway. Anderson misses the 3. Kept alive by Anthony Hardaway. A new 24 seconds with the game tied at 101. The series tied at 1 apiece.
Kukoc cannot leave Dennis Scott now. He cannot float as Hardaway penetrates. Scott will spot up and he'll shoot it.
Hardaway shooting over Jordan.
And a foul. That's going to be 3 free throws.
Michael Jordan incensed, but Anthony Hardaway will have 3 attempts at the line. First time we've seen that called in the playoffs this year.
See if he hits him on the elbow. That's a good call. He got him on the wrist. You got to call that. I don't care what time of the game it is. You have to make that call. Remember in the Charlotte series, Michael caught Hersey Hawkins late.
Didn't call it. And Hardaway misses 1, but he gets 2 more. Anthony with 15 points, 8 assists, 2 of 4 from the line.
Let's watch it on the wrist once again. Right there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, Hardaway's got to make both of these, though. He can't let it be on the odd point.
Hardaway coming into the game, only a 69% free throw shooter. Bulls are going to ice him and use one of their timeouts. They'll now have 2 fulls and a 20 left, trailing by a point.
At Sharp, we have
Chicago Bulls have scored no field goals the last 3 minutes 30 seconds. Their last 6 points have been at the line. Anthony Hardaway 1 of 2 on 3 free throws when Jordan fouled him trying to shoot the triple. It's a 1-point Orlando lead with 1:38 to go, and Hardaway with what will amount to a very significant free throw here.
Yes, you don't want to get on that odd point where a 2 puts them ahead of you. If I'm Phil Jackson, I talk to my team in the huddle. I say, don't settle for jump shots. Let's put the ball to the basket. Let's take it to the front of the rim and get to the foul line. Anthony Hardaway with the big free throw. And if Michael Jordan catches it, look for him to go right to the front of the rim with it.
Might get a call if he does that.
Remember now, he likes to reverse out of a play here and duck himself back underneath the basket. They like to go to that in critical stages.
He's going to take it to the hoop. It's punched away. Anderson with the ball. Horace Grant combined on that turnover as Michael dribbled into traffic with 1:17 to go. Orlando 2 points in front, looking to steal one in Chicago.
I think Horace Grant wouldn't love to make a shot right now.
6 on the shot clock. They're bailed out by the foul on Scottie Pippen.
Free throw shooting. It's going to come down to free throw shooting. We've seen it so often. Is this game 1 all over again? Nick Anderson riding Michael from behind, and Michael just lost it.
Right?
Yeah, Nick Anderson did come up with it. But Horace Grant, remember, made 2 big free throws at the end of the Boston series when they needed it, and he had to dunk at the end of the game 1 of this series to put them up 1.
Grant 3 of 4 from the line tonight. Doesn't get this one, making 3 of 5. Big miss. 1:07 to go. 1:03-101. The Magic leading. Both teams in the penalties, both with 2 full timeouts remaining. No 20s. Chicago has a 20. Take that back. Horace gets 1 out of the 2. It's a 3-point Orlando lead.
B.J. Armstrong back in the game. He's been very cold. He's been on the bench.
Looking to post Jordan. Can't get him the ball down there. They're going to reverse it. Longley underneath. No way to shoot. B.J. Armstrong finds Pippen. With 5 seconds on the shot clock, Pippen misses. An outstanding defense played by Orlando on that series.
Very good defense. You know what happened? B.J. came in. He was cold. He caught the ball, and he fumbled it because he had been out of the game so long. He could not get himself together there to get the shot off. And then great rotation over on Pippen. And again, free throws. You look at B.J. See, he fumbles the shot there, and he can't get it off. And look at the rotation. Scott gets out there. Look at Horace Grant. He comes flying at the shooter. And Shaquille O'Neal shooting 2 free throws that could give his team a 5-point lead.
Shaquille knocks it down. He is 7 for 9 from the line tonight, and it's a 4-point Orlando lead with 43 seconds to go. Shaquille, 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks. You said at the beginning of the game he would have to have an MVP-type performance for Orlando to win. And so far tonight, he has done just that.
Well, how about the concentration? You got to give the big fella a lot of credit. Under 50% on the season, the big fella steps up there and makes it. And that's why you have to be able to have a guy on your team like that, can have that kind of courage to go up there and maybe something he doesn't do well and finish this off for you.
Sunday nights this fall. The NFL is on TNT.
Yeah.
Orlando by 5 points, 43 seconds to go in the game. The Chicago Bulls have not scored a field goal in the last 4 minutes and 25 seconds of the game. Shaquille O'Neal has come up big in this 4th quarter. He has 27 points in the game and just knocked down 2 very significant free throws.
Now, Chicago likes to have Scottie take the ball in. They like to get it right back to him, and they like for him to turn the corner and get something quickly going to the basket. They'd like to be able to get 2-3 possessions in the last 43 seconds. The Magic no-touch 3-point plays.
Jordan, hard to the hoop, doesn't go down. Rebound, Nick Anderson. The lob ahead to Grant. Almost stolen. Scott, open man Anderson. Now they're just playing with the ball. Bulls down 5. There's the foul, B.J. on Nick Anderson with 24.5 seconds to go.
All right, listen now. What's happened over the last couple minutes? Michael fouled Anthony Hardaway on the three-point shot, very uncharacteristic. Come down, Michael lost the ball that Nick Anderson picked up, then he had to foul Shaquille O'Neal, and he tries to get something going to the basket, and the Magic defend it. So Michael's been stoned here the last 4 possessions.
Just as like what happened in the final moments of game number 1 in Orlando.
And you've got to give the Magic a lot of credit for that. You really do.
6-point lead with 24.5 to go. 7-point lead. And the Bulls will call a timeout. Now, in these playoffs in 1995, we have seen 8 points scored in less time than this. So it's not ready to be declared over. Bulls general manager Jerry Krause on the left of your screen with a scowl on his face, and you see why. Chicago down by 7. The Bulls have scored no field goal the last 4:44. Orlando hasn't scored in the last 3:30. The Orlando lead has come for going 7 from 9 from the line since it was tied at 1:01.
Well, we talk about free throw shooting, don't we? Shaquille O'Neal, Anthony Hardaway, Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott, they've all come up big, and more importantly, they've not allowed Michael Jordan to explode and control these last 2 minutes.
We saw Orlando play with poise against Boston. They're doing it here. Jordan tries the 3. Nothing going. Rebound. Hardaway. This is all over but the shot in 17.6 seconds to go. And you are about to witness what I believe to be the most important win in Orlando Magic's young history.
Everything they do is a first. Their first road win in Boston, their first playoff win, their first playoff series that they win, their first home loss. Now they come in semifinals, Eastern Conference, on the road against Chicago under all kinds of pressure. Chicago hits them with an emotional surge to start the game, but Shaquille O'Neal came up real big tonight. Nick Anderson played well. Michael Jordan's got 40 points, but he's had to work for all of them. I think he only has 9 in the second half after 31, and we talked about the importance of other guys being able to score when the game was on the line, and they didn't do it.
Michael 0 for 3 from the field in the last few minutes. Nothing going to go down here. This ball game is all over but the shouting.
Now, the Orlando Magic, if I'm coaching this team, and the last time I said, guys, walk off the floor like we expected this to happen. Don't get too excited. Just walk off. We got 2 more we got to win.
Yeah, a little excitement. I think they're doing pretty much that. Brian Hill said he wants them to take this as business as usual. And that's what we're seeing here. 110-101 Orlando behind a Herculean performance by Shaquille O'Neal. Great play by Anderson. Penny Hardaway down the stretch, and Shaq is with Craig Sager.
All that talk about 23-45, but the biggest number of all was won by 32, and you guys lead the series 2-1.
We came out aggressive. We knew if we come out aggressive, play hard, play pretty good defense, that we were going to be okay.
There's a sign in your locker room. Why not us? Why not now? How big was the win at Boston Garden to give you confidence for a game like this tonight?
A lot of people saying we're too young, we're inexperienced, but like Dick DeVos said, we got to do it sometime. So why not now?
We talked about how emotionally drained you looked after the last game with everybody hacking and following you. What was your difference, your energy level, your motivation tonight?
I wasn't drained. I never get drained.
Never drained?
Nope, never.
And you ready for Sunday?
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day, Mommy. I love you. Pony.
Happy Mother's Day for me, too. Back to you, Bob.
What a sweetheart. Shaquille O'Neal as Orlando wins 110-101. Shaq is our player of the game, 28-10. And Orlando scores their last 11 points from the free throw line. Coming up next, we're going out to the West Coast for San Antonio and the Los Angeles Lakers.